Everybody, my name is Stone Cold Steve Austin here on the Broken Skull Sessions. My guest today, one of the most flamboyant characters in the history of the WWE, Charles Wright. You probably know him better as the Godfather. What's happening, brother?
How are you doing, man? Always a pleasure.
How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Trying
You
to
look
stay
great.
healthy. Thank you.
What have you been up to?
Man, just enjoying life, enjoying life, just having fun, being the Godfather.
When you say being the Godfather, now what does that mean?
Not much different than what it was back then. I don't have the strip club anymore, so that part's gone. But, I'm involved in the cannabis industry now and have my own CBD line coming out and just enjoying life, bro. Just enjoying it.
Every time I've watched interviews on you, you always seem to be in a really good mood and you're always about enjoying life. Dude, what is it that you enjoy so much? I mean, what keeps you in such a positive mindset with all of the headaches, hassles, and
Oh, man.
horseshit that's going on these days?
Well, but to go back to this, cannabis has been a really good thing for me. It's been for my health. I'll be 60 years old this year. I don't know if I look 60. I don't feel it too bad, maybe my knees, but it's been really good for me. And it's gotten me off of a lot of prescription drugs. I don't drink as much as I used to. I'll take no prescription medicine, but it makes me productive. It makes me feel better. It makes me creative. It works for me. But life is just too short at this point not to have fun and enjoy it.
What's a typical day in the life of the Godfather these days?
I believe it or not, I'm asleep by 8:30 at night. I get up early, 3 o'clock. Generally, I'll get on my Instagram and I'll get on my social media, and I'll work on that till about 1 or 2. Um, my day's usually over about 2. Then I'll hit the gym and just spend time with my dogs and my wife.
You're in bed by 8:30 and up at 3.
3 in the morning.
Now, there was a time in your life when this wouldn't be
Ooh,
possible.
man.
You wouldn't be in bed till
No.
even after 3.
I might not even go to bed. We used to say we'll sleep when we're dead, but yeah, a big change. But it works for me. I like going to bed early, getting up. It's just in the morning, it's so nice. It's just quiet, it's peaceful, the air is nicer. But I like getting up early in the morning now.
It's always good to talk to people, and most people have been on the show in a really good place. But we live such a crazy life during our runs. Sometimes you never know where people are coming from. So it's nice to see such and feel the energy and positivity
Yeah.
coming from you. And I know you said that you don't really drink too much anymore. You're living a pretty healthy lifestyle. But
Uh-oh.
man, if I didn't do this, I would shoot myself.
Oh, my God.
And there was a day when you and your good friend, The Undertaker, were the kings of Jack Daniels Distillery and probably boosted their profits by
Oh,
I don't
my
know how
God.
much, but this was the kind of a thing that kind of started with the Undertaker. As he's my first guest on the show. I didn't know if you'd like to do one shot before we jump into conversation and shoot the breeze.
I would love this. Now, I never said that I don't drink anymore. I just don't drink a whole bottle.
Okay,
But I can drink, Jack.
And I never like to twist anybody's arm to do something that they do not want to do.
Salute, my friend.
Cheers. It's a lot of good years.
We're not gargling, are we?
You brought that up. Talk to him about the gargle. Who was it? One guy.
Kurt Hennig.
Yes. And if you passed by Kurt in an airport, you had to do a shot with him. You had to play by his rules. You had to gargle.
Had to gargle.
Why did he make that a thing?
I don't know. I think maybe because he just see if people would do it, but it became something that we all did.
It was a thing, and it was an honor to do a shot with Kurt because he was revered by all the guys.
And gargle, make you gargle it. That and country music, that was our relationship. Good dude, man. Just good dude.
God rest his soul.
Yes.
I wish he was still here with us. Man, let's jump into it. And everybody always likes when it seems like, paying your dues or whatever. They like to hear about the WWE stuff. But, as I was doing research for you, watched some of your old interviews, I found out that you were the Northern California Basketball Player of the Year. I found out that you used to high jump. And, the Godfather that I know and that I met in about 90 down in Tennessee, and we'll get to that, you were 330 pounds.
Yeah.
And so as I'm watching you, and you're telling a story, I said, well, I never knew that. Dude, what kind of game did you have as a basketball player?
In 1979, I was Mid-Peninsula Basketball Player of the Year. That's San Francisco, Palo Alto, the Bay Area, Santa Clara. But I wanted to play football in high school. but my mom and dad wouldn't let me play. And back then, your parents had to sign the release form or you couldn't play. And they're like, no, you're going to get hurt. And I'm like, but Mom, I want to. So I played basketball. I graduated high school at 175 pounds. I was a high jumper. I could actually get up on a 2-foot jump, maybe 43, 44 inches. And so they made me a high jumper. I started playing basketball, but I played basketball like you played football. And I went to college one year. My grades weren't the best, unfortunately, so I had to go to junior college one year. Well, I went to De Anza College, and I started hanging out with football players, and I started lifting weights. Well, then I went from 180, 190. Within 4 months, I'm 240. And I went from benching 135, now I'm benching 300. And now I'm not really so interested in playing basketball anymore. Now I'm doing drills with the football team. And so as time goes on, I started powerlifting. Now I'm 6'5", 320, and I'm bench pressing 500 pounds.
Dude.
So a football coach from St. Mary's went to UNR, Nevada, Reno. And he told Coach Alt, hey, I got this kid. He's an athlete. He's a basketball player. Yeah. They flew me to Reno. They gave me a basketball. We went to the basketball arena, and I'm dunking. Now I'm 300 pounds. I'm doing 360 dunks. I'm dunking this way, dunking that way. They gave me a full ride scholarship, full ride, when I never, ever played organized tackle football. We played flag and stuff and never tackle.
I got to ask you then, as it goes to your football career, how did it go once the pads went on and you started going full contact?
I loved it.
I know, but did the fact that you didn't necessarily have football technique curtail you in any way?
Since they made me an offensive tackle. Of course, they put me on the right
you
side.
had great footwork from your basketball.
But they put me on the right side, and I was a great pass blocker. Charles Mann for the Redskins, Derek Kennard, these guys all played with me. They tried to help me. I was a good pass blocker because that initial pop, I was so strong that stands you up. But I couldn't drive block worth anything. I never got the concept of driving those legs. So on the drive block, I'd hit them, they'd stand me up, and I'd try to hold them off, but I never got that concept.
So did you play all 4 years? You mentioned
No,
JUCO.
I got hurt.
Okay.
I blew my knee out, and let's just say that's when I was Bear at that time, Big Bear. And that's probably when Biker Bear started coming, because I started working in topless clubs while I was there, and I'm hanging out with those type of people.
Were you bouncing because you were so big and
I was
intimidating?
bouncing and also doing bodyguard work for the girls that would do extra stuff in the hotels. Oh, my God.
Dude.
Look at that guy.
Dude, if I saw you in a club or whatever, I ain't messing with you.
Bro, I was big. At that point, I was powerlifting.
Yeah.
And I'm almost doing 2,000 pound total. And
that's elite territory.
I mean, the record at that time was like 2150. And that's no drugs.
Yeah.
That's beer and whiskey. And look at this shirt, Black Hills and dude, I was something. Big Bear. That's probably 2 years before I became Papa Shango.
So you're, what, maybe 28?
26, 27.
Dude, that's a big ass guy out there.
Look at that guy.
In college, what was your subject of study?
Business and administration.
Did you end up getting a degree?
No.
How far did you make it down that path?
I got 2 years in, and then because of my craziness, and I became a knucklehead, because now you took this basketball player that always had good hands and strong, but you made him big. So unfortunately, I was kicked out of school for fighting, and just they got tired of my nonsense.
You know, I was talking to Taker. You know, I had to get a couple of stories on you and do some research, and I asked, and you and I go way back, and we'll get to it. But I said, hey man, is Charles? I mean, is he pretty salty? He you know, he's a man of few words, but he just says, oh yeah, he can definitely handle himself. Was there a lot of fighting back in the day?
Oh my God. First of all, I was the only black guy in a motorcycle club, and a motorcycle club that was wearing red and white. Yeah, I don't know if people know about that, but that's forbidden around some people. I got into a lot of fights. I used to have a theory that the first person, and you always had somebody say, that's a big N-word, or that's a big, and I would not stand, and to this day, I will not be called that, not by a rapper, not by nobody. I just hate that word. And so I would tell people, the first person that calls me that name, I'm gonna knock them out. And then you watch, nobody will mess with me anymore. And it really went down like that.
Right.
A lot of fights. I mean, a lot of just not professional barroom fights.
But what drew you to the biker scene?
I rode a Harley, and when I was in Reno, I had a '55 Ford pickup and a Sportster. A big guy like me had a Sportster. So when I moved to Las Vegas, my friends were all those type of big white dudes with tattoos, bald head, big white dudes with goatees. And I just got more into the game. And then always wanted a tattoo. So I started getting tattoos and I just went crazy, man. I don't know if you know this, but my whole chest, my back, half my legs. I mean, I'm tattooed and I've been like that since '85.
Right.
And there was no black people getting tattooed like that. Not the fraternity things or nothing, but our jail guys, man. And I was walking around, I mean, like that picture, heavily tattooed.
But when you run with all the bikers, was you just going to hang around and be a biker
Dude,
what were your goals at that point? But because we're fixed to get to a point where they're filming Over the Top. They're at your club, guys see you, hey, you'd be a great pro wrestler. But when you're just in the biker scene, what was the future for Charles Wright?
I was making good money, so we were in the topless clubs, and back then, I mean, we were making $1,000, $1,500 a week, and I mean,
That's
in the
good money.
'80s.
Wow.
And so I wasn't, and then it was just a crazy time. It was one of my best times. I still have friends from that time. Unfortunately, in that picture that you've seen, just most of those guys became Hell's Angels, and unfortunately, most of them are dead now or in prison. And me and a couple other guys are the only two guys that survived it. Like I said, I survived it because I got into wrestling, as you're going to get into.
Okay, Sylvester Stallone is filming Over the Top. It's an arm wrestling gig. I've heard you talk about this, and all of a sudden, I guess you're present, and it said, you kind of stand out in the room a little bit, especially back in. So they said, Jesus Christ, you'd make a good one of us. And then tell me that story.
They were filming Over the Top, and then I was a bartender, manager, bouncer of a place called the Crazy Horse. It was right down the street from the MGM where they filmed. And so they would come in there, and I think it was Scott Norton and some other guys that were in that movie, and they were not as big names as Scott Norton.
Yeah, shoot arm wrestler.
Yeah, shoot arm wrestlers, and they're like, dude, we ain't, and I'm working with a tank top on and stuff. They're like, dude, we ain't never seen nobody like you. You should get into wrestling. And I actually said, I wasn't a wrestling fan.
No.
I was a roller derby fan.
Come on, man.
People don't have no idea, especially
Finally,
in the Bay
a fellow
Area.
roller derby fan.
Yeah,
Remember when they had a combo of wrestling roller derby? Yeah.
And in the Bay Area, roller derby might have been bigger than wrestling.
Yeah.
And that's when we went to roller derby.
Yeah.
And so I actually said, I don't want to do that phony crap. And then somebody said, well, have you heard of Bam Bam Bigelow? And I'm like, the dude with the tattooed head? Yeah, I know him. He goes, well, he made $1 million last year. And I said, what?
Maybe I didn't check this
and
out.
so, somebody gave me, they said, well, Bam Bam Bigelow went to Larry Sharpe, God rest his soul, at the Monster Factory in New Jersey. I made a call to Larry. He's like, well, if you get yourself out here, we'll see what we can do. The moment I got off the plane, he looked at me and he's like, I have a deal. How about if you sign this and we'll get you going? I was in wrestling school for a maybe a couple months, and really didn't learn nothing because all I was doing was drinking and chasing women.
Yeah.
And Jerry the King Lawler seen me. And Jerry said, I'm going to put him to work. So my very first match ever, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead too far.
No, you're good.
But my very first match ever, no practice match, no warm-up match ever, was against Jerry the King Lawler in Memphis, Tennessee on a Monday night. You know how big that is. And I went over in the middle, not knowing one damn thing. You know what I knew? To listen to Jerry. And Jerry basically told me, we got in the ring and worked a little bit. He said, listen to me, kid. Do everything I tell you to do. And that's what I did.
Obviously, he saw something in you. So you go over in the match. That's a Mid-South Coliseum. That's a big deal.
Big deal.
Okay?
Monday night.
So you're the world champion, and it's your first match. Did from that point on, or for that 2 weeks that you were unified world champion,
Yeah.
did you like, hey man, this is easy, or I got it made? What were you thinking?
You know what? Here's the bad part. I never thought like that. I was more at the moment. I was learning. We're talking about as soon as I got done with this program, I was going to go to Japan. I was just in the moment, man, and just my life has been so wild and crazy. It was just another episode of.
You jumped right into the craziness,
Right, yeah,
but
yeah.
you fell out of the money. How was that? Because, dude, those are some lean times. When
Oh,
you go to
woo.
USWA,
$50, $25, like we talked about.
yeah,
Hopefully make 120 at Evansville on a Wednesday night and cash it at that liquor store.
and here's the thing: we go to the liquor store to cash our checks, and we tell the guys, and these are our trans checks, our transportation checks.
That was our
No,
pay.
that was our paycheck. But we was, we was embarrassed about the. I mean, you didn't want to tell nobody
You
how much
remember
money.
we get $35 for Evansville, maybe $75 if you were lucky for Louisville.
Well, see, you were ahead of the schedule because I was making 15, 20.
Oh man.
I came back on the second tour, and I had $100 a night guarantee, and that got yanked because the territory went back down. But dude, as you know, you're starving. So, what was the learning process for you there? I mean, were you enjoying the business while you were
I
there?
was enjoying the business because I was around a bunch of people. Oh, look at that guy. Look at that guy. Look at that haircut. I
Who
was
talked you into that haircut, and how long was that a thing?
they talked me into it. I think Dutch Mantell or somebody's like, you should do a mohawk and do it red. And yeah, that was crazy.
How much did Dutch help you, or just spend
Dutch
your
tried to fire me.
See, that's what I'm asking.
Dutch tried
Why?
to fire me. Probably because I didn't know how to work and I was just learning how to work. For whatever reason, he wanted to get rid of me and bring somebody else in. So he came and told me, hey, he called me So. Hey, So, Dutch would have his
Yeah.
tune. Hey, So.
Yeah.
Hey, man, sorry, but we're going to have to let you go. And I'm like, I don't care. I'll go do something else. I can always go back to Vegas and make money. And then he fired me. Then Jerry Lawler came and told me, he goes, no, we're not letting you go.
Right.
Forget what you heard. We're going to keep you. And then Jerry Jarrett came to me and said, no, we're keeping you. And we're going to bring this tall, redheaded kid in to work against you.
Okay, but at that time, you had to have a name. Now, I've heard that they called you Soul Taker based on that tattoo.
No.
Okay, then please tell me where Soul Taker
The
come
Soul
from.
Taker, if you could see here, this guy here I have
Yep.
more girls on me. This is the Soul Taker.
Okay,
And he took women's souls.
right.
Women's souls. That's the Soul Taker. That dark thing on my chest was my patch from the motorcycle club that I was in. And Vince said, you can't have that on TV.
Oh, wow.
Okay, my colors. So that's why it's so dark. We had to cover it up. But that was my patch, the club that I belonged
Wow.
to. Yeah.
So mixed emotions about having to get that covered?
At that point, I wasn't really into the group was called the Thugs.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't into it because when we started it, there was 5 or 6 of us that were 280, 290 that had good hands, and we just drank, partied, and did our thing. Well, then they start bringing in other people and start dealing in explosives, dealing with drugs, dealing with this and that, and we weren't part of that. So the 4 of us, or 3 of me, Big Kenny, and Big Ron, we just came in one day and said, we're out of here. And they said, well, you can't just quit the club. And we're like, stop us. We're the baddest guys in this club. So they would call me, Steve, at 3 a.m. One of the brothers would call me and, hey, man, I need you to come down to this bar. I'm in a fight. You'd go down there and there'd be one of the brothers that I didn't even really know was shooting his mouth off and getting in trouble. So they'd call us to come down. And I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of this. So we officially became non-active retired members from the club. That's what we became.
Gotcha. I wanted to get your take on surviving Memphis because when you started working the Tennessee territory, we all lived in Nashville. But Jerry lived in Memphis, but he basically almost owned the territory with Jarrett. So there was kind of, one of 2 places that you stayed. It was a Congress Inn or it was a Cumberland. What did you say?
Admiral Bimbo.
Well, yeah, the Bimbo. Yeah, I did the Bimbo for about 2 weeks, and I said, hey, man, I got to do the Congress. But a lot of guys did the Cumberland. So just tell me, because I've talked with Mark, and I've been through it myself, and everybody's heard my story, and this is about you. Talk to me about survival in the territory when you ain't making.
Before I even get into that, even though it was rough back then, when me and Taker talk about wrestling, which we very seldom ever do, it's always about those times.
Those are some of the best times,
those
right?
are some of the best times when you were struggling, driving 200 miles from Nashville to Memphis to make $45, and then driving 200 miles back because you couldn't afford to stay in a hotel room.
Yeah.
Me, Dirty White Boy, Taker, Kevin Dillinger, we're in a Ford Taurus. Taker had a Ford, a small thing, a Fiesta or something.
Yeah.
Okay, we'd all be in that, but those were some of the best times and best stories. Of course, because of my relationship with the Topless Girls, I relied on them for a lot of help.
And I've said that a lot of guys. I just did a biography, and I said, a lot of guys live with dancers and this, that, whatever.
I spent a lot of time with
Yeah,
dancers that helped me out. Their life was similar to ours,
right.
But yeah, I spent a lot of time with topless dancers taking care of me.
We're talking about our time in Tennessee, but I want to go to a time when you and I first met because there was a match that happened in Evansville, Indiana, and I think it was the tag match or a 6-man or something like that. But it was me and Dutch, and it might have been another guy, but it was you and Mark on the other side. And Wednesday was a payday. That was Evansville. And I'm sitting there, I'm working a match. I'm green as grass. I've only been in the business maybe 3, 4 months. And, there's Dutch as he is, stirring me up. He goes, hey, when you get out there, pick up that big old soul taker and slam him. So sure enough, someone tags me in, and of course I pick you up and slam you, and the match proceeded. But it was like, I just did what Dutch told me to do because that's what he told me to do. And all of a sudden, when the match is over, we go to the back. And I don't know if you remember this or not, but you had a very serious meeting with me saying, hey, brother, and because you were this big guy. Do you remember that?
I remember the match, and I remember talking to you.
You didn't threaten me.
No.
You weren't physical with me, but you let me know that, hey, if I'm going to slam you, you need to let me know what's up.
Before you just snatched me, and you were strong enough to just snatch me up.
Yeah, I was, but stupid. And there was also, as we were setting up this conversation between you and me, we were talking on the phone, you said there was a case where I guess you and I were going to work in a singles. You take it over.
I want to say it was Louisville. I could be wrong. It was when
Louisville was a Tuesday night, folks.
Yeah, I want to say it was Louisville, but that's when the USWA in the Mid-South were kind of using each other's talent. So you came in, and you were to work against me, and I was supposed to go over. And then you said, apparently you told them that you weren't going to do the job. So then you came to me, and remind you, I'm just as green as you. I'm in about the same time as you. And I was like, oh, this son of a gun don't want to lose to me. Blah, blah, blah. And you came to me and said, hey, listen, brother, nothing against you. I did not come here to lose. And if they're going to beat me the first day I come, then I'm not going to be here long. But you said nothing against you. I have no problem for doing a job for you. So maybe, and then you come in and slam me on a no call.
But you know what? When you get into the business and as big as you were, and I just came out of playing, competitive football. I mean, if dude, you got to be alpha when you walk into those doors because you're in there with men who have been working for anywhere from 10 to 20 years.
Right.
And on those local circuits, maybe coming and going different territories, but you might be the new kid in, but all of a sudden I come in, 6'2", 250, jacked. I'm working with Dundee. I'm thinking, oh, okay, well, I guess I ain't selling nothing for Dundee because he's about 5'8", 200, maybe.
Maybe 5'8".
I found out real quick when you work with Dundee, he gonna get his shit in.
The giant killer.
Right, but the same thing happened with you, though, because you learn.
Yeah.
Did you come in with any preconceived notions, or were you cool with that?
I was cool with that. I was more wanting to learn, wanting to be part of wrestling, wanted to go further. So I was down. I didn't go in there as no badass.
But before I got there, you had a match with The Undertaker. And Undertaker was kind enough to come on the show and share the story. I'd like to get your version of the story because he said he come in late. Y'all didn't get a chance to talk, meet, nothing. And all of a sudden, he's a big dude. You're a big-ass dude.
Then.
Yeah. So all of a sudden the bell rings, and he said you just started beating the tar out of his ass. What was up?
Mind you, I'm a biker, so I know it's a work. So mind you, Taker's been in the business maybe a year now. He's been in business longer than I have, maybe longer. And so we had a match, and it was probably the worst match in the history of wrestling. Mostly my fault. I mean, he tells a story where I throw him in so hard that the turnbuckle comes down.
Yes.
And then I go try to shoot him in again. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, we end up outside, and he wore me out with a chair.
Yeah.
And he basically said, we can do this the hard way, or we can do this the easy way. And I think I said, let's do it the easy way. And from then, after that, for some reason, they put us together as a tag team. They were calling us Death Express. And then he became one of my best friends in the world. Even to this day, he's one of my best
And
friends.
that's what he said. He goes, after that, we became the best
Best
of
friends.
friends. What was it?
I don't know, man. He was a good dude, back then. And he's gonna hate that I say this, but he wasn't in the country. People don't know this, but I listen to country music and have since the late '70s. Early. I'm a big country music guy, more the older country
Yes.
than the new. So when I got to know him, I told him, I'm like, dude, you're too big and white not to have tattoos, and you're way too big not to ride a Harley. And so we got him off of that guitar, long hair music that he was the
Yeah.
Bon Jovi or whatever it was, and that type of stuff. He started listening to country music. We got him into Harleys, and we just became. We were like, we have the same soul, man. He's just a great dude. He's a lot tougher than people think. I don't know if people know if he's tougher or not, but he's a tough son of a bitch.
Dude, do you remember it was the same match? I was going to ride to that building that day with Taker, but because they switched me, Hill or Baby, whatever, rides got crossed up. And I told him on the phone because, Dutch told me to call him and get a ride. And when you're doing a territory, you ain't got you. And so all of a sudden we couldn't ride together because of kayfabe. And I just said, hey, man, I said, I'm going to stretch your ass out there today. And he thought I was shooting. I don't know if you remember in that match, but he had me tied up in about 3 ways. And I was like, he wasn't hurting me, but I wasn't going nowhere until he let me go. And I was like, man, what the is going on here?
Somehow, I don't remember the whole story. Somehow, like he told you to come
Yeah.
in and slam me.
Yeah.
Somehow we built him up that you were talking about him and he couldn't lace up your boots and this and that. And it was me and I don't know who else was part of that. But man, he was all fired up. He was fired up.
Man, and those are the good times of the business,
Yes.
especially when you look back. I want to, before we get into WWE, there's also one other story. It was a treacherous story where you guys had driven all the way down there to Memphis. Big ass snowstorm hits. Mr. Coffee informs you, Taker, dirty white boy, dirty white girl, and y'all was driving your car.
Yes, Ford Taurus.
Yeah, and the show was canceled. So Taker says, hell, I'll take the wheel. So he drives y'all damn near all the way back. And y'all pull over because some people got to go to the bathroom. And then you just volunteer, hey, I'll take us on in. You take the story over because I want to hear your version.
I'm one of them knucklehead hardheads that when I tell you I want to do something, I got to do it.
Yeah.
And so for whatever reason, I wanted to drive. Now, I've never driven in the snow. I don't know about none of that stuff,
Yeah.
And so I want to drive, and Taker's like, man, come on, big dog, let me drive. I'm used to driving this. We're only an hour away. Come on, let me take us in. No, I want to drive. And back then, you couldn't tell me nothing. So he's like, you know what? I'll let you drive. Now, this is where our story changes. Taker says that I only got a few feet.
10
feet. I say I got at least 10 yards. But I put us into a spin. We ended up in a ditch. He's told the rest of the story, but it's all true. But that's me. You couldn't tell me nothing. I want my car. We're going to fight. You don't want to, it was like that. Me and Taker beat on each other more than any two people possible, just being friends.
He was telling me a story. We was talking a little bit yesterday, and you guys used to go to a bar and just start chopping each other, and then just kind of just trading off chops. And dude, you're both 3+, and you're doing your shots, and then finally, I think I don't know whether you or him just smartened up and like, why don't we just, what happened?
It was me. One day we woke up, and back then we used to stay in the same room. Even though we're making money, we'd stay in the same room. I don't know why. We did that forever. And then we'd wake up the next day, and I'd be like, damn, your chest would just be hamburger meat. And I think I said, why don't we stop doing this? We would hip toss each other on cars. We were just two big old knuckleheads having fun.
How did you end up getting from USWA over to New York? I'll call it WWE.
Taker went to Japan. When Taker came back, I went to Japan.
How did you fare in Japan? Did you learn anything over there that would help you later on?
I learned how to work a little bit.
Yeah.
By listening. Learned how to work crowds a little bit more because, the Japanese crowd's a lot different. But I learned a lot. And then when I came back from Japan, Taker went to WCW. And then I went to Germany and worked with Otto Wanz. Listen was on that card. God rest so many of their souls. Owen Hart, Fit Finley, Dave Taylor, Scott Hall, Cannonball, PM News, Rambo. That's the people that were on that 8-month tour with me. And I learned a lot there. I mean, and then when I got back from Germany, Taker was in WWE. And so they called me and said, hey, we're going to give you a tryout. And I got a tryout in Arizona. And Vince hired me. He says, we're going to hire you. Here's the part that nobody knows.
Gotcha. I got it.
He's, he says, they hired me. They said, we're going to put you on payroll. He says, you have a body of a monster, but you have a baby face. He goes, we got to figure out something to do with your face. A couple months later, they called me and said, hey, go rent the movie Live and Let Die. I already knew the movie. He says, we're going to do a voodoo character off of the guy. And that's where it came from.
Before we take a deep dive into Papa Shango, are you ready?
I'm ready. I am more than ready.
You know,
This is tasting pretty good.
We were talking, I didn't know that you were even going to drink any Jack Daniels. I thought I'd be drinking by myself.
I don't drink like I used to, but I do drink Jack Daniels.
All right. What are we cheering to?
How about to my good old boy Undertaker and his stories?
Hell yeah. Cheers to Taker.
Boy, we put away a lot of that. Still
Dude,
tastes
we
good
got
too.
some pictures here in a minute. You're going to enjoy this. We're still going to go down memory lane. Let's talk about Papa Shango, because you come in, you got this baby face, you're a handsome guy and this big
Handsome's
ass body.
pushing it, but-
See, well, come on now, work with me. It's my show. I got to push you over. Yeah, we can throw you under the bus.
Okay, we'll go with you.
So let's talk about the Papa Shango character, because it's coming off Soul Taker. Shango, is this an ongoing theme that you're into this or what?
No, I had nothing to do with it. When they called me, like I said, they said, you rent the movie. I already knew the movie. I had no idea. To be honest, I was just happy to be going to the show. And whatever they gave me, I was going to try to make work. So, I mean, I actually did a lot of research. That sign on my chest is the sign of Drambula. And I went to New Orleans, and I spent some time there with some, I just can say, voodoo type people, and they taught me a lot of stuff. So the things that I was saying and doing were legit.
Did any of that stuff start ringing with you, or did you become enamored by it, or say, hey, this is kind of a thing, or just think, this is weird, but I need the background?
I needed the background. I just wanted to learn. I wanted it to be as authentic as I could. I'm a country boy at heart, chewing tobacco, listening to country music. That was a stretch.
Right.
But I did the best I could.
But point is, because, you know, like, I didn't know who the ringmaster was. When it became Stone Cold, I knew who that guy was. And with Papa Shango, you knew who that character was, and we'll get into why maybe it didn't work so well. But to the young cats out there, I always like to have a message within the show for people that are trying to get into business or down at PC. Once you establish a character, you have a base of knowledge or research or a place to come from to help you make decisions. And I think the research that you put in shows that you had done that research to commit to the character. And you weren't half in, you were all in.
The problem with Papa Shango is I had a match against Kamala as Papa Shango.
I love Kamala.
And God rest his soul. And it was probably, I had a hard time wrestling against Kamala because I would go to touch him. He'd be like, woo, he'd be afraid of me like he should. And the problem is he was so much better at his gimmick than I was, that I wasn't at the same caliber as him. I think what happened to Papa Shango, I was still green. And to put you into a gimmick like that, where you're not even a wrestler, it was hard. And so I probably didn't make the expectations that they wanted to. I tried, but it was a hard gimmick to do, to try to get over this voodoo guy that was putting spells on people. I think if I would have been a more established, better heel, I would have did better.
But I also think maybe if it came a little bit later, and maybe Vince pushed it a little too hard as far as the reality of it, because he was making it come across that you could really impose these things, which we'll see some footage here in a minute, of putting these curses on people. So let's go to some footage when you were working with the Ultimate Warrior.
One thing about this is, to this day, people are still talking about that.
I know. It resonated with people. Watch this. Just watch your performance, because Dude, you're not half in this. You're all in
Oh,
it.
I'm in it.
Yeah, and that's what I appreciate.
I was
about
in a
it.
trance, man. I was
Yeah.
really, Steve, I don't know if you know this, but I wouldn't, once I put the face paint on, I wouldn't talk to nobody. So if we didn't work out some type of match before, there was no talking.
Gotcha. All right, here you go. You've got the voodoo curse on him. He's got some abdominal pain going on here. Sounding like
sold
a
it
big
good.
bucks. Oh yeah. But let's see that, man. I mean, dude, you're in it. You ain't phoning this in. All right, here we go. Watch this classic. This classic. Straight out of the Exorcist.
I
with
put the
Linda
hoodoo
Blair.
on him.
Oh yeah, you did. Oh,
Ah!
hang on. It gets better. It gets better. Watch this shot.
Ah!
Here, watch this one. Oh. See, yeah. How was that? Was that something on the side of his face shooting that out?
People, I have never told this story before, but people want to know. You want to know?
Want to know. I got to know this part of the magic.
With the black ooze that I used to have, they used to run a hose up the back of the guy and up into his head or wherever it was going. And they'd always have a jacket on or something or pants. And they'd have a little squeeze ball. So when it was time, they would squeeze it and then the ooze would come out. To be honest, I don't know how they did that. I wasn't there. I didn't get to see that part of it. I didn't see that. So I don't know how they did that. But the black ooze was done by a little squeeze ball and, like that. I smile because I did work hard at that, but there's all type of reasons that character I didn't work. I was also going through a really rough time at that time.
Divorce.
Yes.
Number one.
I've been married 3 times. This time I've been married 21 years.
I'm on the 4th. Okay. Go
Okay. I got a divorce. I was not, that time I didn't smoke. I didn't smoke cannabis. I just drank and took pills. I was a lot meaner person. And I don't know if Taker remembers this, but I'm sure he does. It came to a point where I didn't really care about anything besides doing damage to people. Not wrestlers, but getting drunk and getting in fights. And Taker actually came to me. He's like, hey, bro, you might need to go home. And so we let Vince know. So he didn't just beat me, but they let me slowly go because I was just in a bad place, really bad place. And I was evil and I was mean. And Taker would have to babysit me every night because I'm just looking for a fight. And you can't remember back then, there was no social media, no cell phones, no ESPN. So a lot of that was my fault, not just Vince. A lot of that was my fault.
No, but dude, when you're on the road and whatever the other half's doing, this, that, or whatever, I mean, when you're on the road and then you're dealing with something like that, because I've been there in a few cases, it's a total head trip and it's not a good space to be.
No.
But dude, I just don't remember you as being that guy. And maybe I didn't really know you at that time, but then it's just hard because you're such a good-natured guy to see you in such a dark place.
Yeah, it wasn't a good place to be in. I try to stay positive, but it was a bad place.
How long were you gone before they brought you back? Because they're going to bring you back as Kama Mustafa.
It wasn't that long. It might have been a couple years. But here's what people don't know about me, and this might sound bad, but I was never a wrestling fan. I was a roller derby fan, so I was never a mark for the business. And so I used to tell Vince, I can go back to Vegas and make $3,000, $4,000 a week. Why do I want to be on the road making $2,500 a week and going through tables and people have no idea about the traveling. That's about the worst part.
Right.
And so I would tell Vince, it's just Vince, I'm not having fun. Wrestling for me, and I know this is going to sound weird, was always my second job.
I've heard you say this.
I've always had the strip clubs, and I had that all during wrestling. I was part owner of Cheetahs in Las Vegas, which we sold a couple years ago. But I was always involved, so I always had a means of making money. Steve, I made money in the WWE, but it was just when I wasn't making money, I'd be like, Vince, I can go home and make this money, not be going through tables and chairs and this traveling. And I would go home, and then somebody would call me and say, hey, we're going to do this. And I'd be like, nah, I don't want to do that. And then they'd call me and say, hey, how about this? And I'd say, nah, I don't want to do that. Well, then they called me and said, hey, that's when the UFC started. And they had a fighter named Chemo. And Vince is like,
carried the cross
yes,
to the ring.
tattoos.
Yeah.
And mind you, back then, not a lot of people had tattoos.
Yeah.
I was very few people had tattoos when I showed up, very few. Vince is like, check out this chemo guy. Now, mind you, I've never been a professional kickboxer, any of that stuff, but I dabbled in everything 'cause I always wanted to learn. So he goes, well, we want to do this kind of a thing and make you this comma. We're going to call you comma. It's going to stand for kick any man's ass. And so I'm like, nah, I'm not really down with that. And he goes, we're going to let you ride a Harley. And I'm like, oh, I'm in there.
So all of a sudden, he gets an idea, UFC inspired, about a fighter. I take you to this vignette. Your thoughts?
He's tougher than Tyson.
Okay, here we go.
Look at this.
Business is about to pick
More
up.
menacing than Seagal. And faster than Van Damme.
Well, I was laying that in.
Oh, I know you were.
Fighting machine. 330 pounds of thickly muscled beef in perpetual motion. And he's coming to the World Wrestling Federation.
Wow. Look at that.
How about that?
Look at that. I don't think that outfit ever made it on TV.
So they call you and present you with this new character creation. What were your thoughts?
All I thought is I get to ride a Harley. Now, mind you, we talked before, I was a biker.
Yeah.
People have no idea that I was a biker. That was more of the common look
There you go. Yeah.
I had a fun. I don't know what happened with that, but it didn't click.
But the road is a tough grind. And if you're making money at the house, the allure to come back in the business is very strong. Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Because you keep coming back. As easy as it is for you to leave, you're just as easy to come back.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to say I didn't miss the people.
Yeah.
You know, I've never been into the fame part of it, the autograph part of it. Like I said, I used to tell Vince, when I'm not having fun, I'm leaving. Wrestling to me was a way to have fun and be myself and be around people that were just like me. Because there's very few people like us back then.
Yeah.
There's very few people that are like us in that whole wrestling, genre.
You're going to come back and you're going to work a little bit with your good friend, The Undertaker. And we've got some footage from a casket match.
Oh,
Tell me about this match if you remember this.
I hate casket.
Well, dude, yeah,
know what?
you don't want to be in one.
When I die, they're going to cremate me. They're not putting me in a casket. Look at that guy.
What are you thinking here? I mean, this is your good buddy.
What am I thinking
I
there?
know we're all pros.
I'm thinking, boy, I don't want to screw up. I don't want to make Taker look bad. And I mean, I'm there to make Taker look good. I do not want to make him look bad. And so I told him, dude, call everything. I mean, I called my heat, but
But as I'm watching this, I'm thinking, okay, man, this is the ultimate fighting machine, and he's about to go old school on you. And I'm like, but this is that creative liberty you take where it's part of his gimmick, and he's walking the tightrope on the third. Wham, big sell.
that's my man. I got him
There you
now.
go.
Oh, I better get something in real quick because it ain't going to last long.
Man, that's the thing about Taker.
Oh, what am I doing? What the
now,
hell?
see,
What
no,
am I? I didn't even know I could go up there
This
like
is why I
that.
was about to ask you about this. What enough you doing on the top turnbuckle?
I didn't even know how to get up there. If you watch,
You're the ultimate fighting machine.
oh,
Hey,
I
that's-
caught his big behind.
Hey, dude, when you catch a guy that's big and long, that's a test of strength.
I just said I caught his big behind. Uh-oh. Am I going to suplex him?
Oh, yeah, on the casket. Spoiler alert. Yeah.
I don't think those were actually bad matches I had with him.
No, here you go.
Uh-oh.
Nice bump. Both
Uh-oh.
in the cage, both in the
I
casket.
hated going in that casket.
Dude, I'm claustrophobic.
I hated that. You know, boys used to rib you back then.
Well, I heard that they put a bunch of dead fish in there for you
Yeah.
guys.
They'd put a sticky hot.
Icy
whatever,
hot.
Icy
yeah.
hot.
All the body guys used to use that. And then
Hated
get in
that.
everybody's eyes and you hate it. Okay, you're about to go back in. Oh, okay. Of course, this is the Undertaker's trademark match, right?
Oh, Lord.
There you go. One for good measure, another one.
Oh, my. I love
Man.
working with him. Oh, he's not done. He took me out and
No.
put me in there again. I think this is it.
There you go.
No.
No.
Oh.
Don't shut that casket. If the casket shuts, it's over.
To be honest, I used to love working with him, man. I would go out of my way to try to get that extra bump in or sell a little bit more.
What were the challenges with working that style?
Other people not knowing a lot of those moves, me not knowing a lot of them. I knew some, but it was difficult. I had a match with Shamrock that went really well because he knew so much. But it was difficult. I mean, I don't know why it didn't get over more. At this point, after Taker, I was probably starting to be ready to go home.
And you were.
I mean, I wasn't having fun anymore. They put me in the $1 million corporation, and then, I wasn't having fun.
And you kind of cruised off.
Yeah.
Back to Las Vegas. But I think WCW was calling you. Could have been some competitive offers there. They end up hiring Virgil. You seem to be relieved at that.
Best thing that ever happened to me.
So then what? You're just at the house waiting for the next call?
I was still in contact with WWE.
So there's never any bad
No,
blood.
No, not at all. Well, they offered me something, and then I accepted it. And then my man Ron Simmons, actually, this is off the sidetrack. Ron Simmons told me don't go there.
Wow.
And I'm like, why? And he said, you ain't used to them boys from the South. You're from the North. He goes, and you're going to have problems, and they're going to be calling you names that you're not going to like. And I said, well, then I'll be fighting everybody there. And he said, then you're going to be fighting everybody there. He said, not a place for you. Don't go there. And then all of a sudden, I'd worked some deals. Jim Herd?
Jim Herd, yeah.
Okay, I'd worked some deals with him, and now I'm waiting for it to get called back. He called back, and I'm watching the show, and all of a sudden I see Virgil show up. Well, they took Virgil did it for a third of what I was going to do it for.
Right.
Well, I was cool with that because I became the Godfather, and they clowned Virgil, and I wouldn't have let them clown me like
Right.
they clowned Virgil.
But when you talk about Ron Simmons giving you that advice and you don't belong there, I mean, like, dude, Ron's Florida State guy. Ron is a god down there in the
Yes.
South. So, but that was the warning that he gave you.
Yes, exactly what he told me. He said, you're going to have a hard time. You're not used to dealing with them like I am. And this is way back. And
Yes.
so, I mean, anytime that I needed advice in wrestling, I went to Ron. We're close to the same age, but that man has a lot of knowledge. So I would go to him. So I mean, I went to him on a lot of things.
All right. So, plans to bring you back as Papa Shango. And bring up his picture here because the plans are going to drastically
yeah.
change. Now, dude, look, that's wicked,
Yes.
right? I feel like had they not gone into you casting spells, if this would have been presented back in the day without, Vince going a little bit overboard with the commentary
Yes.
and then casting spells, this would have worked as a monster heel.
This was going to be less comical, a lot
Right.
more serious. Jerry Lawler painted that face.
Oh,
Jerry painted that face. There was my jacket. There was everything. I show up to TV ready to go. I'm in really good shape here. I'm worked out hard. I'm like, I'm going to have some fun now because we're going to be
Dude,
a
look at
lot
that.
more serious this time.
that is a serious
I mean,
gimmick here.
look at my shape. I was
Yeah.
probably 285. I was in really good shape. I show up to TV, took these pictures, and they said, Vince wants to talk to you. And I'm like, okay.
How much did you talk with Vince?
A lot.
Okay.
I mean, not as much as a lot.
No, I mean,
a
because
lot.
when Vince wants to talk to you,
A
something's
lot.
up.
Back in the day, way back in the day, before everything, Vince used to go out with us a little bit. So know him well. And he's like, Vince wants to talk to you. I'm like, cool, I want to talk to Vince. So I go in there, right? And Vince goes, Charles, change of plans. I'm like, change of plans? He goes, we're going to put you in the Nation of Domination. You and Farouk are going to wrestle Undertaker, and you're going to go over. And I'm like, what? And he goes, and we had this outfit made for you. Okay, I don't know how most people would take it. I said, you're the boss, you're paying me, let's do it. So I went to Ron Simmons. I'm like, Ron, do you know what's going on? And Ron's like, man, I have no idea what's going on, man. They didn't tell me nothing. I don't know what's going on. And then the next week, Vince kind of laid out what he was going to do. But yeah, man, that's how it worked.
I was going to be on a singles run with Harley Race as U.S. champion. I got put in the Hollywood Blondes. So a similar situation, but you go into that, all of a sudden you get that information. You go to Ron, who's your guy to go to, and he don't know what's
He don't
up.
know anything, and I believe him.
So are you mad?
No.
Dude, you're the happiest guy I know that can go through all these situations and come out glass 2/3 full.
To me, it was a job. You give me the job, you pay me what you're going to pay me, I'll do my best to do what you want. And that's how it's always been with me. I wasn't worrying about what this guy was doing, what this guy was doing. I was doing my own thing. I was having fun and enjoying myself, enjoying life.
I appreciate that answer. And again, I always like, for younger talent to be able to learn from this. If you don't learn from that, what he just said, that's valuable information. I want to pull up two shots. Here's the initial lineup. There you are. There's Ron. There's D'Lo. There's Rock. There's Big Mark.
Big Mark.
When they're talking about the nation domination, okay, now what are you seeing this is? Okay, this is a vehicle for a group with strength in numbers. We're going to get a push. Is this a holding pattern for 5 guys? I mean, you've got to be thinking something because, now you're in a group when you were single.
Vince laid out what he was kind of going to do. And I'll tell you what Vince said about Rock. He pulled me and Ron into the office. And he says, okay, this is what I'm going to do. He says, do you know who Dwayne Johnson is? I did not know who he was.
Right.
Ron did. Ron was like, yeah, I know, man. I always got to talk like Ron. They said, well, we brought him in as Rocky Maivia, I think his name was.
Yep.
He says, and the people on it.
Yep.
He says, this time I'm going to put him in the nation. He says, when I get people to hate this kid, when I turn him, he's going to be one of the biggest things wrestling ever saw. And that's what Vince told us. He says, this is what I need from you. And then I remember saying, because we were all like, well, we're cool with it, but The Rock's going to wear some type of nation thing. Right. And The Rock didn't want to wear the hat. He didn't want to put none of the nation stuff on. So somewhere under that belt, there's a little strip of the nation.
Man, it's
good dude, though, man. Like, good dude. Glad to be part of it. That's another one that people are still talk about it.
What a display of power, but look at the star power involved. Ron was Ron. And remember when he first debuted as Farouk, he had on the blue gimmick, and he had that helmet, that leather helmet. We would kid him. We called it the skull bucket or the skull buster or something like that. But listen, when we speak with Ron, we always speak with reverence, like you'd like to do the impression. But dude, Ron Simmons is the only guy that could pull off that outfit without being ribbed by anybody, because nobody said to Ron Simmons.
That's a bad mofo.
Yeah, so it was a launching point. When I look at it, was this a holding pattern or whatever it was, Ron, and here's the thing, dude, out of all the alphas, that are in this group, and he's the leader, okay, you would go on, because you're going to start becoming the godfather of the group. You're about to spring off. Okay, Ron is going to do his thing. He's going to get in the APA. They're going to give him a hell of a push. D'Lo's going to hold the Intercontinental title and another title. Rock's going to go on to become The Rock. Mark's going to go on to become Sexual Chocolate, do the Hall of Pain, end up in the Hall of Fame, along with you, everybody else. But I mean, it was almost like this was like a holding pattern for guys who are about to be slingshotted out with a lot of momentum into single gimmicks.
I agree with you 100%. A lot of talent there. And it's one of the groups that everybody became something out of, which was cool. And a lot of that had to do with Ron. Believe me, more than people can believe.
What kind of advice or would he give you, or what did you learn from, along with the advice about WCW, did you pick up from Ron Simmons?
Just how to handle yourself, how to be on TV, how to be around other people, how to be around groups of people. Dude, he was a mentor. I mean, how to act. What to sell, what not to sell. You're being too comical. He had so much advice, man, and everything was good. And he had that advice for everybody, even The Rock. I tell you something that people don't know about The Rock. Know your role and all those sayings that he came, those were Ron Simmons sayings.
100%.
All of Ron
I
Simmons
caught
sayings.
that too. So as this group was designed, Ron Simmons was the leader.
By far.
Now, okay, you gave me the backstory. This was a pivot point for The Rock to be slingshotted, and he would become one of the most popular characters in the history of the business. But did he steal that from Ron, or was it a master plan? Because, dude, he would be doing some things a lot of times in those group promos.
He took a lot of stuff from Ron.
Yeah.
But Ron had no problem with that either.
Right.
Ron would put it out there. You want to use it? They're like, damn. Ron been saying damn for 40 years.
Right.
Ron was so cool that he would allow that. I mean, he helped The Rock a lot. Rock, a talented person, but he helped him a lot. All of us.
So within this group, you guys hanging together at all? Or?
No.
Yeah.
Ron was more into lounges. D'Lo was more into video games. I was going to strip clubs every night. Those guys weren't strip club guys. There was a bunch of us that went to strip clubs every night, and I was part of that group.
I remember one time I was a new guy in the territory. There was a thing, everybody went to strip club. I wasn't necessarily a strip club guy. Now, every now and then I'd happen
Right.
into one. But man, because it's a worker trying to work a worker, right? And
Right.
so, man, and because I had no money, I would never shell nothing out. And so we was at a club one night. All of a sudden, man, here comes this girl and she's dancing in front of me, and the pressure's on me because I'm thinking, oh man, I got to come out at least a 10 spot. And so, and as I begrudgingly open my fanny pack, a shoulder hits me from behind, and it's Undertaker, and he just goes, "It was on him. He'd fronted up for me, and it's like basically it's like a welcome into
Yes.
the territory." So I'll never forget that story because as I opened up that fanny pack, moths could have flown out, but when I got that hand from behind, it was like, "Welcome to the territory, brother."
Yes.
That's what he was saying to me.
Those were good times too, and that's how it was.
It was.
We used to buy more dances. We'd get more dances for other people than us.
Let's talk about a guy that you did have some crosses with, because cliques sometimes get formed in the business. Alliances and friendships are made. And you guys that used to love to play dominoes would be the Bone Street Crew. And talk about Bone Street Crew just as far as where does the bones come from? It's not like you're trying to kill people or bury people. Bones is
Dominoes.
correct.
And you know how long you could be at TV from 12 o'clock, and if you're the main event at night, you might be there at 11:30 at
You
night.
gotta kill
You
time.
have a lot of dead time. So Yoko, a lot of people don't know, Yoko was a rapper. I mean, he could free flow rap like you couldn't believe.
I didn't know.
Oh, yeah. And so Yoko would be like, yo, BSK, time to play. And so we'd play dominoes. This group oh, man, just great guys, man. But we're just guys that played. We weren't political. We weren't part of the clique. We didn't have any animosity or trouble with the clique. We didn't have none of that. I was just as much friends with the clique as I was with these guys.
Right.
Look how we used to roll, man. BSK.
Man, you guys were a real band of brothers, BSKs. And, speaking of yoke, you got a great yoke story.
Back in the day, you remember this, we used to rent cars. This is before the buses and everything else that they have now, and then the drivers. We used to drive to all the towns. And so you'd rent Cadillacs and Continentals, Lincoln Continentals and Cadillacs. Remember that?
Unless it was a drop car.
Yeah, it was a drop car, Lincolns. And so I'm driving. Yoko is to my right, and Taker's in the back seat. There might have been one more person there, but I'm not sure.
Taker's in the back seat.
Taker's in the back seat.
First ever.
Now, only because he's paying respect to Yoke, because at that time, Yoke's probably 550 pounds.
Right.
Okay, so I'm driving down the road, and I'm listening to some Hank Williams, and I'm chewing tobacco. And I'm just, singing to Hank and driving. So Yoko looks over at me.
Obviously, the music is not resonating with him.
No.
Okay.
Yoko's a rapper. He's like a hardcore West Coast rapper. And so I'm just playing and singing my song. So Yoko's looking at me and looking at the cassette deck back then. He's looking at the cassette. He's looking at me, looking at the cassette, puts his window down, ejects the cassette tape, throws it out the window. I'm like, yo, what's going on, man? He goes, hey, man, has anybody ever told you black? I love that dude, man, and that's why I'm wearing this shirt today, man. That is such a wholesome, him and Undertaker are on the same damn level with me, man. He was such a good, wholesome, do anything for anybody, nicest person in the world, would do anything for you. Yoke Dog, man, God bless him.
I used to love, the few occasions that I got a chance to face him in the ring were always treasured moments, and truly, and a hellacious worker
Yes.
in his own right, bar none.
Size?
Love that story.
Hey, we got to do a shot for him.
Hey, you want to do a shot for Yoko?
Yoko, is that okay?
Got to.
Man, God bless you, brother.
God bless you.
Nothing
Cheers
but
to
love for
Yoko.
you, my brother. Nothing but love.
Hey, I've told my story about working with Yokozuna way back. And okay, this is recently.
Oh, my God.
This is recently. All these years past, you guys finally get a chance to reconvene. Explain this picture to me, because I had heard this is the first night of two.
This was the bad one. This is the night before they retired Taker. And so we all met up at the bar, and it was COVID time. So the bar was closed. Vince had the whole floors, the whole thing. So there was only us up there, and we'd all been tested for the COVID. And we started drinking. There's a few missing, but we started drinking Jack. And I think we went through that group and a few more, probably 3-4 bottles of Jack Daniels that night. And some of us hadn't seen each other in 20 years.
Man,
20 years.
It's good to meet up with like-minded people and guys that we're interested in the same thing that we all are.
Right.
It's entertaining people and the adrenaline from a live crowd.
I'm telling you, though, there's something about my arm on pictures. It makes it look bigger than it normally is.
Oh, dude, don't sell yourself short, man. We're here to put you over. It's the
I'm
biggest
like, damn, that's a big arm.
Right now, it's the biggest arm in the world.
Man.
But let's go back to the nation just for a second because we're going to segue right now into The Godfather. And this is an interesting topic because it can never be done today.
No.
We are in the world that we are, so skip all that. So you became kind of known as the Godfather of the nation. So was that a planned segue into the single Godfather? And because I'd heard you created that on a hiatus, and maybe you or your wife came up with it, but it was a work in progress.
I was in the nation at that time. Farouk was gone. Rock was doing more singles. D'Lo and Mark Henry kind of hooked up together. And my contract was coming up. I'm like, who? I got to come up with something because I kind of got lost in the shuffle here. And so I started growing my hair. Now, at this time, they're building The Rock. He's wrestling you. And when it's time for the Stone Cold Stunner, we're jumping in there and taking it. That's all me and D'Lo were doing, was taking people's finishes at the end. And so I started letting my hair grow. My hair grows fast, right? And so I start growing hair. I dress with a black vest, black pants. These hats.
Yeah.
Same hat me and Taker got in the fight over. I always wore these hats.
Yeah.
So my wife starts saying, instead of being a heel, why don't you just be a baby face and let people like you? She goes, why don't you become a pimp? This is all my wife. Why don't you become a pimp and wear these colors and wear these bright colors and hats and jewelry? And I'm like, well, if I'm gonna be a pimp, I wanna be a mean pimp. And she's like, no. You need to do something where people see the real you and let your personality come out instead of trying to pretend to be somebody. So my wife would have the vests made, all this jewelry, she'd have it made, hats, glasses. She did everything. All I did was perform. The WWE really had nothing to do with it until Vince heard that it was kind of getting over, and he came to me and says, hey, Charles, this might have legs to it. And he says, do you think you can get some girls and put it to it? Because at that point, we were just doing it in the house shows because me and John Layfield Bradshaw, we're on the popcorn match. I don't know if people know what popcorn match is, but it's the match after intermission.
Right.
It's usually
Everybody's going back to their
they're
seats
trying
from
to get
getting
people back
popcorn
to their
at the
seat.
intermission. Yeah.
Me and Bradshaw are going 10 minutes, beating the hell out of each other, and people are sitting on their hands. We're getting no reaction.
Tough place to be.
No reaction whatsoever, and we're lacing into each other. So one day I went to Jack Lanza because my wife had talked about it, and I said, let's try something different. And in the meantime, how The Godfather came up was one time I told Rock, I said, instead of saying comma, because he's the only one that talked, I said, call me The Godfather.
Okay, finally, the part of the show that everybody's been waiting for. Everybody wants to see The Rock, the people's champ and the people's choice. Of course, the new ruler of the Nation of Domination, the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, comma, The Godfather, and of course, D'Lo the Enforcer. Hey, make sure the camera's on The Rock where it needs to be.
And when he called me The Godfather, from that day on, people just started calling me The Godfather.
Right.
So we start developing.
You planted the seed.
Yes, and when he said that, and we just went with it. And then, like I said, at first in the house shows, there wouldn't even be any girls. I'd say, right now, in the back, in a limo, and then I'd offer John the girls.
Yeah.
And then John would take the girls. And people would start chanting, take the hose, take the hose. I'd be like, man, they're telling you what to do. And so he would take the girls. He'd start walking away. All of a sudden, I'd heel. Oh, another dumb redneck. I'd heel on him. He would turn around, hit the ring, whack.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. I'd jump up with my hat and say, man, pimping ain't easy. And the place would go crazy. So we went from beating each other up for 10, 12 minutes with no reaction to getting nothing but reaction and doing nothing, just entertaining them.
But it's really interesting because when all of a sudden you come up with an idea and all of a sudden the big man comes up and says, hey, there's something here. And you start to turn it into a thing. and you turned it into more than a thing because you were getting some of the biggest reactions from, as soon as that music hit. Let's roll some footage. Classic Godfather coming down here in Monday Night Raw. Look, everybody's up. Everybody's got a sign.
Oh my.
Look at this.
419, got a minute.
Dude, after all the roads that you've been down, and all of a sudden you're going down the road that is you. Here we go.
It's time once again for everybody to come aboard the.
Everybody.
Ain't the only one. Is there any pimps up in this house?
Everybody, look at that kid right there.
That the Godfather be pimping hoes. Man,
You
I
can't do
want
this
you to
anymore.
roll a fatty for this pimp daddy. Light that blunt up and say.
Dude, that is, hey, here you go.
Oh, we got
Shot.
to drink to that, to the Godfather.
Cheers.
Oh.
You can never do that again.
Oh.
I mean, that speaks to how much fun the Attitude Era was, because you could push that envelope, you could go out on that limb as far as you wanted to, and they could reel you back in a little bit, but you weren't afraid to go out on that limb.
Steve, I was never scripted.
I know, that's what I love.
Never scripted. They would give me time. I had so much time to get the girls in the ring, out of the ring, and bring them back in that it was crazy, man. I see that. I was having such a great time with this gimmick. It was just so over and fun. And I had told Vince, man, they see enough wrestling. Let me entertain them. I said, well, just so you know, I said, there's a big smoking audience out there, more people than you know, and let me talk to them and some other people. And it got over overnight, especially when we put girls to it. It took off, but how could it not? I don't think you'll ever see another Godfather in that form.
You never will. And to the level that people related to, gravitated to, and enjoyed this character, because a pimp is not necessarily a great human being,
No.
but in this world, he's the good guy, right?
Yes.
Okay, and I know it's 2021, but I'm just talking about what we were doing in that time, and that's what we're speaking about, this time
Yes.
frame. This guy was a baby face.
Yes.
Huge.
Big time, a pimp.
And I also appreciate the fact that you were to go to Vince and say, hey man, there's a larger audience
Yeah.
out there that you know that does this, and to push the envelope in that direction. Because now, as we say, or as you're talking earlier, medicinal marijuana is definitely a thing
Boy.
to help many people from PTSD, from veterans and stuff like that. But speaking to that crowd, it's like when I always looked at trying to do something, you're looking at a piece of pie, and here's the pie, and you get little slices of a demographic. But if you can get that whole pie, then you have everybody. And so you're catering to everybody,
Yeah.
not pandering to, you're working them and delivering a message. So
Boy.
I think it's forward thinking, and a lot of people don't do that in the creation of a character or
Right.
persona. Think about that, and you had the balls to go to Vince and say, hey man, check this out.
Thank God he went with it. Boy, I was having the time of my life, brother. And it was just so cool. I mean, if you look at that person, you look at me now, it's just to be yourself, like you. You're out there being yourself, and it's easy to be yourself, and it's easier to get over being yourself, because people see that.
When you first started doing this, they didn't have the trademark music. I'm imagining this is a Jim Johnston creation, who wrote my music, Undertaker's music, so many. So all of a sudden, they're going to present you with a piece of music. And what were your thoughts when they first
I
hit
loved
that
it.
twang? I mean, because did you have any influence on this, or did they create something?
They called me and said, what do you think about this? It's a little like porno theme.
Yeah.
It's a little voodoo child. It was a little voodoo child. It's a little funky. And I said, dude, I love it. I'm not a really good dancer. I said, but I can play around with that. I said, I love it. It's like,
You can explore the space.
yeah, I said, I can have fun with this.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, when it was him.
But doesn't that it magnifies it? It's like, okay, you've got this going, and then all of a sudden you put this music on top of it. It's like you're putting a magnifying glass on it, it blows it up.
Just made it even better. You know, the girls made it. That's what made it, was the girls. And when it was getting over in the house shows, Vince got a hold of me. He goes, "Charles, do you think you can get some girls?" And I'm like, "Vince, really? Me, Taker? You remember the Harris twins?
Yes,
Ron and Don?
Yeah.
We
Tough dudes.
we went to a local strip club, the four of us, and we picked up some girls and brought them back. And that's how, and then once we put girls to the act, because nobody had seen it on TV, it was overnight, it was over. I mean,
Oh, dude, you
overnight.
kidding me? Yeah.
I'm at the airport the next day, and people are like, "Godfather, where's the girls?" And I'm like, wow. You know, it got over like Rover.
Hey, what were you thinking then? Because you've been in the business now since '89, and that's 90-something. 10 years, it's been a 10-year run.
Yeah.
And with moderate to, medium thresholds of success, all of a sudden you turn this into a main event, money grabbing, attention, monster pop. How gratifying was that?
Oh,
Because you live and die by those people, Charles. You know that.
yes, sir.
Was it finally like, hey, man, it's the Holy Grail?
Yes, I made it. I'm home. My people. I mean, just look at my face there. It's not no work, man. I actually enjoyed going to work every day and everything that goes with wrestling life. I enjoyed it. And it was just, and that was the pinnacle of it, man, to be out there to do this. Just a great character, but my favorite character whatsoever. I don't think it's a character though, but
Right. So, you're on top of the world, but now it kind of gets come full circle. So you're about to do a piece of business with one of your best friends, The Undertaker, where you made it a thing to give your opponent an option, whether they want to fight, wrestle, or whatever for the win, or you would trade them for a night of action with anyone they wanted from your selection of beautiful women. In this case, it's The Undertaker. Let's go down memory lane one more time.
I almost got him to Brett Kayfabe.
You almost
too.
did.
Paul was like, "Oh yes."
Hold up, big man, hold up. If you want to fight, we could get to that in just a minute. Now, you know me and you know what I am. I'm a pimp.
Pip.
Even though pimping ain't easy, that's what I am. But I know you too, man. I've known you for a long
What's Paul?
time.
Oh, yes.
And I know that you like hoes.
Look at Paul. Look at Paul. He almost
Don't
broke.
make me go back to dates, because you know
He
you
almost
like
did
hoes.
too.
But listen here, man. I want you to do the right thing right now, because we can fight, and you know, well, I know I'm going to kick your ass.
I like the way you rephrase that.
Well, I know.
Protecting him.
Or feast your eyes on this, man. You can have your pick of any one of these hoes, man. What you think?
Can you believe
Jesus.
any one of them?
Okay, wait a minute now. Wait a minute. I tell you what, man. Oh, wait, I tell you
I don't
what.
even know if Mark knew what I was
They
saying.
say
gonna
you're a
say.
dead man. I don't think everything's dead, but if it is, these girls will.
And the fight ensues.
I love that dude, man.
I
love
thought
that
you were
dude.
going to have him a time or two. God, that was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was just fun. It was entertaining. It was fun. And that's all it was.
And it was great that he would let you go so far, with his character. But going back to your friendship, you were this biker known as Bear. And when you first met Taker, he had 0 tattoos. What was your influence on him with the ink that he would bestow upon his sleeves that would come, look at this classic picture right here. Tell me about this, and what come to Jesus meeting did you have with Undertaker?
I stayed on him about, and I'm just going to say it, this might sound a little weird, but I used to tell him, "You're too big and white not to have tattoos. It just doesn't look right to me." And so I kept on him and on it. Then he came up with this design, And I said, next time you're in Vegas, we're going to get it done. And so when him and Paul showed up in Vegas, we went down to Las Vegas Tattoo, and Smiling Paul put on it. And I was the happiest day of my life when I got him that first tattoo.
And he would carry that on to become,
Yeah.
all of his arms and everything like that. Did he ever look to you? Did he always go back to the same artist or ask you for advice?
No, I think he only was in Vegas once, and then he, as he became a bigger celebrity, he started getting bigger name tattoo guys tattooing him. But I'm the reason that he got that first one, and Vince was hot.
I had heard that.
Vince was hot about it.
Because it's almost like he wanted him to call him and say, hey, can I get permission to get a tattoo? And goes, leaves.
I got him. Yeah, but Vince was hot about it.
But as it turned out, those things worked out perfect for him.
See there?
So you were a visionary.
Before my time.
Hey, what was the most fun do you think you've ever had in a ring? Like people ask me about matches, this, that, or whatever. As far as just a moment that really stands out to you in your career.
Besides Taker, I used to love working with him, but Bradshaw and Ron and me and Bull were the tag team champions, and we're wrestling the Acolytes. And I used to have, I liked it more physical. I used to have the best time in my life wrestling Ron and John, and it was just fun to be in the ring with those two because at that point we're hanging out together at night, we're riding together, and of course, God rest his soul, Owen Hart. Owen Hart was like, no matter how hungover, no matter how tired you were, it was going to be easy with Owen Hart. But Ron and John, I used to love working with them. It was just fun.
Take me down the road with you, Ron, and John, because, dude, 3 alphas who like to drink.
This is how it worked. Ron and John drink, and I just smoked. So they would drive during the day before the show because they weren't drinking before the show. And then at nighttime, they were drinking, then I would drive. So that's how that relationship worked out. And Teddy Long was in there, too.
Oh, Teddy.
My man Teddy was in there, too. But, those, besides Taker, those are two of the most loved people that I have in the game, and Teddy.
As all good things must come to an end, or it seems like for some reason they do, PTC started coming down on the Godfather gimmick and didn't think that it was such a good thing. So they started toning this act down. And so you would be confronted about wrestling Bull Buchanan, and it was the RTC, the right to censor, a play on PTC who said, hey, you need to settle down over there. If you lose this match, you will, give up your pimping ways and become a part of the right to censor. Here you are now, you're a businessman and you're a team player, and yeah, there you are in the picture, but as the Godfather who was having so much fun, the time of his life and a single act, and now, and this is a group of really talented people. And I was an Ivory fan way back in the day when she was with Glow, Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. How did you feel somewhat neutered in this role?
Hated it. This is the only time in wrestling where I did not like what I was doing. It was so hard. First of all, Vince fought for me hard.
That's good to hear.
Vince, and he used to tell me, Charles, I'm trying, man, but they're coming after you hard. And I'm trying, and he said if it was up to Vince, he would have kept that gimmick going forever. But he was taking a lot of heat over what I was doing. So he's like, well, we're going to poke fun of this group for a minute and then try to get back to the Godfather. But this is where it became a shoot for me. It wasn't no longer a work because I had been so long being myself and having fun that became a job. And it wasn't a job, but they pulled that from me and put me in this group. And now it was a job. It wasn't fun anymore.
And you were making money when you went home.
So I made the mistake of telling somebody, I'm leaving this. I can't handle this. I'm out of here. I think it got to Vince, and you know how Vince is, and me being a loyal person to the company. I've always been a loyal person. He dropped the straps on us. So I'm not going to leave when he dropped the straps on us. So it kept me there longer. I was not happy. Stevie, Bull, I loved everybody in there. I was cool with them. But look at my tie. But I was not happy there because I was no longer the Godfather, and it was no longer a work. It was a shoot.
But on behalf of Vince, when he says he's fighting for you, and, it's the same thing with Goldust, I mean, you know,
No, he was-
that community came down on him and they had to chop the legs out from under him, but he was fighting for you. And dude, when he loves the gimmick, he stands behind it. But he's walking a tightrope.
Yeah, I mean-
and then ultimately, you know, the mass is going to win. But I believe if he's standing up for a fight, he believes in the fight.
Oh, yeah.
But certainly, at some point, things have to change, and they did.
They did.
So things kind of start just winding down. Did they end up just releasing you? How did it all just end? I know you go on to do other things, make sporadic appearances. How did it all come down?
It came to the point where they couldn't. They tried to bring me back as after the Good Father, as the Godfather. I wasn't a pimp. I was an escort. It was Godfather Light, and the people just didn't buy it because they wanted the old Godfather. So we were talking about other stuff, and then Jim Ross or Johnny Ace called me and said, "You know what? We're going to book you on a couple of things, but we're going to just go ahead and release you because we can't use the gimmick as it is anymore." And I was cool with that. You know, I had no problem with that. I'm like, cool, because I don't want to come back anyway. Because it was Godfather Light. People weren't buying it.
But I also like the way you approached the business was you weren't a mark for the business and treated it as a business. You know, so many people get wrapped up in a business and then
Right.
on the backside, because they are disenchanted or feel like they were shortchanged, have vitriol for the business and then speak against it. Hey man, it is what it is.
Just what it is.
It's a fucking crazy ass world. And even today versus what we were able to do during the Attitude Era, it's still a crazy, I mean, it's an interesting business.
Very interesting.
It is not for everybody.
Nope.
With so many different, you know, personas, personalities, and this, that, or whatever. When you look back, and we've kind of gone down memory lane, any regrets in your business? Anything that you thought you missed? I mean, you pushed the envelope with the Godfather character. You got that over in magnificent fashion. So, but looking back, anything you think you missed out on?
The only thing that I can say that I missed out on was during my Hall of Fame speech.
I want you to please explain this.
Okay, sometimes there's downfalls from being medicated. Snoop Dogg was also part of the Hall of Fame that year. So let's just say I was hanging out with Snoop most of the day. I don't know if you know this, but I've never been scripted. I've always just kind of gone off the cuff. So when it came to the Hall of Fame, my wife's like, "You're going to write a speech?" I'm like, "No, I'm just going to go off the cuff." I'm like, "I'm going to hit this, I'm going to hit this." And I'm telling her, "I'm going to put you over like Rover. I'm going to just tell everybody all about how you were for the gimmick and the originator of the gimmick." Da, da, da. So I get up there and I start having fun and I'm doing my thing. My grandson was there. It was his birthday. So there was a part where I wanted the whole audience to say happy birthday to him. Okay, then after that, I was going to hit my wife and how she was the creator and everything, put her over. Well, the thing with my grandson went so well that I skipped the part with my wife somehow, and I went on to the finish. And the second that I walked off, I said, "Oh, hell, I forgot to mention my wife." My wife, we've been married 20 years. She is everything. And I went to the first person, I'm like, "Did I mention my wife? Did I mention my wife?" They said, "We don't think so." So I did my Hall of Fame speech and never mentioned my wife. So that's one thing, that's a screw up that I can't fix. Every chance I get, that's one thing I missed. I wish I would have put her over because she is so much more the Godfather than me just being out there being silly and having fun. And she did the costumes, the outfits, the jewelry. And honey, I love you to death. I'm so sorry. I know I screwed up. Please forgive me, because she still holds it against me. Because anytime something bad happens, she goes, "Well, at least he mentioned her."
And you know what? The fact that she had the wherewithal to say, "Hey, man, this is the Godfather that, you know, you want to be the mean Godfather." But she had the entertainment factor
Yes.
factored in, and that's why it got over like it did. So you were universally loved and got that gimmick over. In my private life, I'm bad at returning calls, this, that, whatever. Do you keep in contact with your brothers from the BSK, or how in contact are you with the wrestling world?
BSK, we're on a Facebook chat, so we're always
Okay.
talking to each other there. Talk to Ron all the time, talk to Taker, talk to RVD, I talk to Val Venus, talk to Teddy Long, talk to John. I talk to a lot of guys. People come through Vegas. I don't have the club anymore, but we try to have dinner and stuff. But I keep in contact with a lot of guys, especially through social media. And Rikishi.
wrapping this thing up. They're giving us go home cue. Yeah, before they do, let's do this.
Oh, I love it.
Cheers to the Godfather.
Yes, sir.
Good times. Kind of putting two questions into one. Outside of your career, what you're most proud of, or what's next for Charles Wright? Where are you headed to?
What
You're
I'm
still a
most-
young cat.
What I'm most proud
To
of.
me, you look 46.
See, I'll be 60 this
See
year.
what I did there?
I like that. I am so much behind cannabis, hemp, CBD, Delta 8. It has nothing but done good for me. Right now, I have a line coming out with Be Real and Insane. I have a CBD line and Delta 8 line coming out. And just being part of that, that whole, I'm still doing my wrestling stuff. But, I'm very heavily involved in the cannabis industry. I do seminars where I talk about, there's benefits to cannabis. I mean, health-wise, CBD-wise, there's so much benefits to that plant that it's crazy. It's not for everybody. It's not for you. Might not be for them, but it works for me. There's a lot of benefits to it.
Yeah.
And I'm into all of it.
Okay, tell people where we can find you on IG or any social media.
I'm on YouTube as Smoke Train, okay? Where I am involved is Instagram. I am The Godfather with the little check mark. I'm verified as The Godfather on Instagram. On Facebook, I am the WWE Godfather. But I'm really involved with my Instagram. And if you go on there, you might see some wild stuff, but I have a lot of fun on there.
My last question is, when you got the call to go into the WWE Hall of Fame, how did that resonate with you?
I was going to the gym, and Mark Carrano called me. And I've been going to WrestleManias for 10 years. And so he's like, Charles, you going to WrestleMania? I'm like, yeah, of course I'm going. He goes, well, who are you bringing? I'm like, who am I bringing? I'm bringing my wife. He goes, well, you might want to bring your whole family. And I'm like, well, why would I do that? He goes, because Vince decided he's putting you in the Hall of Fame this year. And I was just like, wow. It was just an honor. I don't know. I think my personalities and entertainment got me more in there than my wrestling. But my body of work is there, man. And I've had a lot of gimmicks. And not all of them were cool gimmicks. And I did the best that I could. And they were all competitive.
Yeah, but that being said, when you look at
Like Vince.
the greats in the business, something just entertains or enamors fans, whether it's personality, it's work, or shenanigans or whatever. Something has to resonate with the crowd.
Right.
When you go back and you watch you as the Godfather, everybody, and like I said, in today's day and age, yeah, or any day and age, yeah, the part of the pimp, not so much.
Yeah.
You got it over, and people resonated with the gimmick. So you're in the Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Thank you. I
We'll
appreciate
do one last
it.
shot.
I love it. How do we do it?
Hey, look at this shot here. I'm telling you a story. You and me are shooting this.
Oh, Lord. Still doing our thing. We all look good there.
I always say last questions. Sum up your time in the business.
Sum it up. Great experience. Met great people. Have lifelong friendships through it. Was a pleasure and an honor to be part of it. I have nothing but respect for the business. Just a great time, man, and a good stories and good friends.
You're one of those guys, when I was watching all your interviews, it's like his glass ain't half full, it's 2/3 full. I mean, you're just a positive person. So congrats on a hell of a
Thank you.
career. Thank you for coming out here in the middle of nowhere and speaking with me. My name is Stone Cold Steve Austin. My guest, Charles Wright, the Godfather, here on the Broken Skull Sessions. And that's the bottom line, because I said so. Cheers, brother.
I'm going to gargle this one.